Good afternoon, Ram Fam, and welcome to the Faculty Spotlight, ASU Faculty Spotlight, where we bring in different faculty members, talk about different programs, things going on. And let me tell you, we got a great show for you here today. We got Dr. Christine Muelsch, and you might want to pull the microphone to you, Dr. Muelsch, there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Hello.
And Dr. Laurie Dickmeyer, and we're going to talk about, tell us the name of the program, that way I don't get it wrong.
The name of the program is Medicine, Monsters, Myths, Europe 2024.
So if you remember right, a few weeks ago, we met with another couple of young ladies who we talked about a European study abroad program, and this is another opportunity for students to go study abroad. And first of all, before we get started, ladies, I want to tell y'all, I am so excited y'all are doing this one. It is, I think the study abroad, I wish it was something I had the opportunity when I was in college to do. I didn't have the opportunities, and I wish I had, because I think it would have, I studied abroad a different way. I let the military send me abroad, and that's how I got to study Europe. Not the recommended path I would recommend for students. So, before we get started, Dr. Muelsch, we're going to start with you. Tell us what you do here at the university, and just, what do you do?
Okay, so I've been here at the university for a really long time.
Okay.
And I'm teaching French and also German. And I've also been the study abroad coordinator here at the university for a few years. And so I have a lot of experience with study abroad, and have actually led quite a few study abroad programs to Europe and also to New Zealand. So
Wow.
know a lot about safety of study abroad programs.
That's really cool. Je suis étudié dans l'école pour 30 ans.
Are we?
I may have said it wrong
Hold on.
because it's been a long time,
Okay.
but I did. I studied French in school for a bunch of years, and then I actually deployed to Saudi Arabia with the French Air Force.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was really cool.
Okay.
Had some great experiences, and might want to pull your mic a little bit closer.
Okay.
She's telling us we're okay. There we go. But I really enjoyed it. So one of the things we did there was we got to eat dinner I got to go eat dinner with the French folks that were there, and I
Okay.
loved it. And then we had a situation where a French general came in, and he had flown in. And in Saudi Arabia, you're not allowed to have alcohol at all, right? Well, a good French person is going to have wine with their meal. That's just what you do, is the way it was put to me. Well, they didn't have wine, not allowed, alcohol's not allowed. Well, this French general flew in, and we had the whole big 4-course meal. We even had sherbet and all these different things. And they opened this box, and it's all this wine. And he's like, no, forget them. I want wine. I'm having wine. And that's what he did. He brought it in on his own plane when he came in. The French general did. Yeah.
Okay.
So I did not go back to the American dorms that night. I got a room and stayed with them. So, but no, I did. I deployed to the French Air Force. And of course, you and I were talking earlier, I lived in Ramstein, Germany for 4 years. And I really enjoyed my time in Europe. And that's why I get excited about these European study abroads, because I enjoyed my time in Europe. I really did. So, Dr. Dickmeyer, what do you do?
I'm an assistant professor of history, and so I teach the U.S. History Survey and upper level Asian history courses.
Wow.
I also teach the Honors Humanities Seminar, so yeah, it keeps me busy.
I'm about to say, you probably stay really busy. And American History Survey, no. I'm terrible at history. I know a lot about history, but I know enough to get me into trouble.
Okay.
With history.
Yeah.
I know enough to know that I don't know enough that I'll repeat it very easily. I've always been fascinated with American history. I really can't say I really know a lot about Asian history. I mean, just be honest with you. I don't. I know where the countries are in Asia because I spent time in Asia too.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a little fact about me a lot of people don't know. I've been on all 7 continents.
That's pretty impressive. Yeah.
I've been smacked by a penguin. I'll just say that. It was not a fun experience. It was an emperor penguin, 5 foot tall, and was not fun. But that was the trip. I got to see New Zealand, and I thought New Zealand was just gorgeous.
Beautiful country.
Oh my goodness! Especially flying in, you see the mountains and the trails through the mountains. You're just like, and I wish I'd had the chance. I saw New Zealand from a airfield strip, so I didn't get to. I wish I'd have gotten out to see more. most of what I got to see in New Zealand was either flying into the airfield or flying out. So, but I enjoyed it. It was gorgeous, and of course, we had little. They don't take good pictures from the air.
To fly into Frankfurt.
Okay. Times.
Yeah, major city in
It
Germany.
is.
Yeah.
It is.
And we have a few stops there that we're going to check out. I believe for Dr. Museum while we're there.
Okay.
Take a walking tour in Europe and get a sense of the city.
Yeah. Dr. Muelsch, any particular place you're looking forward to seeing in Frankfurt there? At all?
Well, actually, I grew up as a little
Okay.
child, so I know this area. And especially in the context of the course I will be teaching, vampire, and be going to the so the guy who was the subject of Frankenstein, right? So
Yes.
it's close by. It actually local.
Never got to go to that. We went to the Heidelberg Castle.
Beautiful.
Half of it's fallen. We kept being told to go to it. We just never made it there because and then to Italy.
Halloween parties there.
Oh,
It's like the thing.
Yeah.
I wish I'd have had the chance. About when I told her we were going to, she was kind of like, like giddy about it. And so it's for her. She just personally, she loves the idea of, and so I can only imagine what thinking about. Yeah. Anything else over there that you really think see or any of that?
Well, I think that the film museum is really interesting. A lot of props there that were used in the 1920s. Really interesting to see set designs. Of course, especially for American tourists or students, it's important. Frankfurt is an important, was the area that was in the American zone.
Right.
So there are a lot of American influences there
There
too.
really are,
Okay,
yeah.
so students will see that, have the contrast and compare.
I learned when I got there, like the Kaiserslautern. It's a huge. As a young American that didn't Louisiana, never really got to travel. Everybody's German. They don't. There's. It's and that's where I learned. That's one.
Yes.
And if you do this, you're going to get. Oh yeah, and I got two.
I suppose.
Yeah.
It was. families for the weekend. He didn't warn me. And I'd been living in Germany weeks. He'd been there like 3 years. What was about to happen. Did not warn me one bit. Just let it. I learned real quick, don't trust. And this is 2. This is 1. Yeah. Cultural stuff and learning that I don't do with.
We'll be taking north. You know, I mean, if you have been in Germany, you know how easy it is.
It is.
To get around. I mean,
Absolutely.
And as you already pointed out, when you were over there, the countries are so close that it's easy for you to visit another country. Paris, or
Yep.
you take a trip to Zurich.
Yep.
Okay.
Did that.
I'm sure. So you'll be traveling by train up north to the
Okay.
Baltic Sea. Okay.
Denmark
So-
and all that.
Yeah. There we're going to go to Lübeck, one of the really old Hansa towns where
Yeah.
Nosferatu was filmed in part. Okay. Famous for its marzipan. A lot of people
Yes.
like marzipan. Okay.
I'm hungry
And yeah. The culinary experience is, of course, very important too. You get to eat stuff you don't get to eat over here, so that's
No.
a nice.
Bakeries
I
are
learned.
fantastic.
Just so much better, and you know we you go in Europe, and it really is so much better a lot of times. The standards they have, stuff like that over there. That, like you said, if you're not experiencing the culinary experience, you're really missing out in Europe. I agree.
We'll make sure that the students
oh,
get
yeah.
to eat other stuff too,
Yes,
right?
of course.
Good,
Definitely.
good. I wouldn't want them to go hungry.
No. Or thirsty for that matter. Yeah.
Yes. So going up to the Danish border.
So Lübeck and Wismar, they are old Hanseatic towns
Yep.
and really well preserved too. Okay, and of course there's a beach there too, which is interesting. I mean, it's not like beach here because the water is not quite as warm.
Yeah, it's cold
But
up there.
no, it's not super cold. You can
it's-
swim,
right.
you can, but it's
Right.
you know. Yeah, and so we're gonna visit up that area. Do a little bit the film tour that is related.
Sure.
I mean the filming sites and everything was filmed on location there. And from there we're gonna go to Berlin,
Yes.
also by train, not
Okay.
very far, 2 hours, 2.5 hours.
Berlin.
Definitely. So.
I was about to say, sounds-
yeah.
I'm about to switch here because that's history and that's that's Dr.
For my part of the course, I'm teaching history of medicine, history of the body and mind,
Yeah.
and we're really focusing on the 19th century and then up in the 20th century to 1945, which maybe indicates to you that we will be covering World War II.
Yep.
So Berlin is a really important site for that.
Yeah.
We'll be
Absolutely.
considering a longer history of the development of modern medicine. There's a very famous hospital in Berlin called Charité that we'll be learning about, and a lot of innovations that occurred there in medicine. But we'll also be looking at the history of Nazis and experimentation during World War II.
There was a lot of
and,
that in that area.
Yeah, the concentration camps as well. We'll be visiting Sachsenhausen, which isn't too far from Berlin while we are there. So there's a lot to
Wow.
dig into. And Berlin's a wonderful city.
Oh, Berlin's
by the way, too.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
I would. Munich than Berlin. We spent a whole weekend in Munich, just museum. whole weekend, and it's a jazz and museum thing.
Mhm.
It was great. We saw some great jazz, and I'm from South Louisiana, so jazz is a
Mhm.
big part of my culture. So to see it in a German, like you see things they're still fighting over today that are in Munich museums that were stolen during World War II, and things like that. And so, when we went, I don't know why. I wish we'd have done more in Berlin.
Yeah, there are a lot of museums, like you've been
Yeah.
saying. It's been a while since I've been to Berlin, but the students will have some time to explore a little bit on their own too.
Oh,
so
good.
if they have particular interests, they can check out some of the ancient history museums, or they can check out some of these jazz clubs. I think I went
Yeah.
to one of them too while I was there.
I think we went to 3 different ones when we were in Munich. And at the time, like I'm not anymore, I was really into cigars, and it was a cigar. And I was like, so I could go to the bar and get a drink and a cigar, and my wife at the time, I don't listen to the music, and I could just kind of enjoy the ambiance that was there. We only went to like 3, and then we found one we really liked, and we just but no, is and then we talked about the Berlin museums that are still being fought over, are they where they belong and things like that. And it's there. Even the Louvre has some stuff and going through that. Lynn, as a historian.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just excited for the whole thing. Honestly, I'm curious about all the things that we've talked about, but particularly Sachsenhausen, because I spent a year abroad in Germany, but somehow never made it to any of the concentration camps, and I realized that this is going to be a difficult kind of part of the trip, but really important too.
Yeah,
so
we went to one concentration camp when we were there, and I couldn't do it again. I mean, it was I don't even remember where it was. It was up north of us, but man, it was the stories that come out of there and the historical background. You're like, you're walking through that a lot of people in the world want to deny, and you're like, you can't deny it. If you try to deny it, you see these concentration camps, you can't deny it, and it is emotional toll on you at times. And so that for the students, because that gives them a real different look at what World War II was. It's crazy what it does, and it just sheds a light more on the things that are going on, especially with what y'all are studying. So a lot of people don't realize the things that were studied and tried. Everybody thinks like super soldier program was a fake thing. No, the Germans really man stronger, so to speak. You know, but that's really exciting. So how long is this total trip? The total experience. Let's call it an experience. Because that's really what it is, right?
Yeah,
it's an experience.
Yeah. Well, the trip to Europe itself is 4 weeks.
Nice.
We do have some preliminary materials that we'll be doing beforehand. So we'll meet a few times during the spring semester, and that's to give students important information about traveling.
Sure.
To start teaching them about our topics, but also to instruct them on how you travel internationally, right? How do you pack your bag for 4 weeks? You don't want to overburden yourself. I'm sure you're aware of that kind of
yeah.
Yeah, all kinds of things, right?
And maybe also sort of an introduction to the topics we're teaching. So vampire literature, film history, right? And your body and mind.
Maybe a little history on Mary Ann Shelley.
Yeah.
If we're going to visit Frankenstein, might as well talk about that.
Yeah. It's also basically knowledge knowledge when they go there, you
Sure.
know, and then can basically experience it better. Let's put it that way, you know, have a better feel for it. And also, we're gonna the forms of assessment are sort of done before, so you're not burdened when you're over there. So, you know, you're traveling there, oh, now I have to take a quiz over that or something. You know what I mean?
You just
So
get it out of the way.
it's more relaxed that way, you know. So you have the knowledge and you go over there and you and then in the end they sort of have an assessment where they can write about it or something. It makes it easier for the students that way.
Sure.
And also, I think, you travel with, you know, particular perspective. Yeah.
Well, there's a difference in walking into somewhere and go, oh, I remember talking about this.
Right.
Then go, what is that? And then you're learning at the same time because you don't experience, you experience it better. We talked about, remember she said something about this and you're like, you experience it better. I think there's a real value in that. And students may not see that up front, but there really is a value.
Yeah, for example, like when I went to New Zealand on that study abroad, you know, it was like a lot of the students had seen Lord of the Rings, right?
Yeah.
And so we went to the Weta Film Studios, and boy, they were prepared because they were total fans of it, and they knew everything. They could engage in the discussion with the costume designers, sound engineers, and stuff. So this is, you know, you're just better prepared that way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And like you said, you experience it better. I mean, it's just what it is. So we've mentioned Germany. Are we going anywhere else?
Yes.
Let's talk about it.
We're going to fly to Bucharest in Romania.
Ooh, okay,
Yeah.
I do not know a lot about those, so I don't have stories there.
Oh, okay.
Been through there, but we were quick pass-throughs.
Okay.
We did. We covered. Well, it was cheap. You know, I was in the Air Force when I lived there. It was cheap to travel.
Right.
You know, and a trip like with all we added it up. I bet we only spent $2,500 on travel and food. Spend money, not souvenirs and food, but just the travel itself. We flew Ryanair all the time.
Yeah, totally.
Like when we went to France, we would drive every time. At least back in the to early 2000s, hotels were cheap. You know, and it was just me and my ex-wife and my daughter. We didn't need a big place, and hotels, our rooms aren't small, aren't big there. And when I look back and I go, well, we've been here, and if I were to add it up, I bet it would have been $25,000 to $30,000 worth of travel to do all that.
Right.
You know, and so we traveled. We went all the way. If we could get a weekend, 3-day weekend, we were gone. Worked that 3-day weekend, we were gone, and we were on a trip somewhere.
So especially flights are more affordable in
Yes.
Europe, most definitely. Okay. The big cost, I would say, is the flight from here to Europe. But once you're there, it's easier to organize. And
Absolutely.
It's cheaper, as you know.
I remember we flew from, it was hot. I can't remember the name of I want to say it was like Hot Frankfurt, where the Ryanair air and something Heim, and I can never remember.
Yeah,
it
you're
now.
right. It's on the tip of my tongue. I was like that.
But we flew into yes, and we flew into Italy because we spent a week in Italy, and we got a rental car in Italy and spent a week there. But Italy, it was like we had our airport fees, which were like $25 or €25, but the flight itself was like €5.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it was like it was like $100 for me, my daughter, all three of us.
This summer I was in Spain and flew from Malaga to Fez, Morocco, and it was $17.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really cheap. Yeah.
Much more affordable there.
So actually, in the past, when I did study abroad, with students, there were prior to us taking off, you know, students knew when they would have their days off, and I guess we are going to do that exactly the same way.
Right.
And then they can plan, you know, if they wanted to go and fly to London for the weekend or fly to Paris or Madrid, you know, quite a few students did. as you said,
Yeah.
it's cheap, and you can fly maybe round trip for $30 or
Yep.
so. It's well worth it, you know.
Absolutely. I enjoyed that opportunity. We took every opportunity we had. Like I said, if we had a 3-day weekend and I wasn't working, we were gone. I mean, it was no question. We were gonna.
If you were in countries like Romania, Slovenia, Slovakia, Hungary,
Yeah.
cost of living is cheaper than in the Western European
Right.
countries, so they can easily travel from Bucharest if they wanted to do that, you know, for a weekend to let's say Budapest or so. But we already have a
You got
nice
the
little
time in there.
program in Bucharest, and visit Bucharest, go down to the Black Sea too,
Yeah.
you know. So this is going to be nice too. We're down there definitely.
Definitely.
And then we're also going to go and visit the Vampire Castle, the Bran Castle. So this is going to be really nice, you know, for us, the vampire fans.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So, and a lot of students want to go there.
Absolutely.
So really interesting.
Absolutely. So when we look at this,
I
for
mean,
students.
we are not going to go over 20. Let's put it
Okay.
that way. That
Oh, I
is
don't
like,
blame you.
No, this is sort of what we had planned, you know, this is a nice. You can handle
Sure.
2 people going,
Yeah.
you know, and sort of from my past experience, that's a nice crowd. That's what we, you know, sometimes it's also depending on where you want to stay, getting hotel reservations,
Right.
getting bus reservations and flights, so everybody's on the same flight sort of thing.
Right.
It's not that easy if you go well beyond
Right.
that number.
Okay. 20 is a pretty good number.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
and 15 is a good number.
Right.
20 is a pretty good number.
Right.
Okay, so Bucharest, Romania.
From there, we're gonna take a flight. We'll go once we're at Bran Castle. We go back to Bucharest.
Okay.
We were looking at train connections there, but we thought it's really better to just giving the cost of flying, which
Sure.
is so reasonable, to fly from Bucharest to Vienna. Vienna is gonna be the
Yeah.
next, big thing. Yeah.
Austria and Switzerland. That whole. They're all right there. Is right there in that area. Neuschwanstein.
Oh.
And yes, and we used to go down to the resort down in that area, Garmisch.
Garmisch. Mm-hmm.
And we'd go down there, and then we would go out to. We'd go ski out. So I tell people I got to ski the Alps, and it's gorgeous.
Yeah, won't be skiing this
No,
time.
not this time of the year. Not that time of the
It's
year.
like, no.
And so like students will be like, I'll walk in and it's cold outside. I'm like, no, this is not cold. But we. What are you gonna see in Vienna?
Well,
A lot of history
maybe
there
I
too.
roll that
Yeah.
over to you.
Let's say a
because-
lot.
It's another fantastic city, and it plays more into the part of the course that I'm teaching about the mind, right? We're going to
Yeah.
look at the history of psychology and psychoanalysis there. So, of course, one of the main famous figures
I
we'll
can
be
tell you.
examining.
Freud.
Yes, how did you know?
Yes.
Yeah, we'll be
I was
looking
wondering when
at-
Freud was going to come up.
Yeah. So there's a lot of good things we can do with Freud in Vienna. There's
Absolutely.
a walking tour that goes to sites from his life, and there's a nice museum as well, so we'll be visiting those sites. There are some other important figures in psychology as well. Victor Frankl, for instance, who we'll be learning about there too. But Vienna is a really good city to learn about the history of World War II and the post-war period too, and it's just a beautiful city,
It
right?
is.
Great architecture, great food and culture, and you have to get some coffee and cake while you're there, right? That's a famous thing to do.
In Austria.
Yes.
I will not say I enjoyed all of the food we tried.
Oh,
I'm just being honest.
Okay.
I don't remember. I can't think of any of the food that I really just stood out. Now the Austria and Switzerland and the whole Bavarian area.
Pretty good.
I mean, I'm not skinny for a reason. Okay, I got to know them very well, and even now I have friends that are stationed over there. Can you send me some stuff? I love that. Again, back to making sure the students eat well. They fault.
100%.
I mean, that's just bottom line to it. So where we leaving? Where are we going from Vienna?
From Vienna, we're going to go to Slovakia,
Oh.
Bratislava, visit another castle. Plenty of castles here. I mean, if you go
I
to
love
Europe, you
that.
can. You have a little castle,
You do,
right?
yeah.
So this one is where the actually Nosferatu part was filmed.
Okay.
They didn't go to Romania and film it there, but they filmed it in Slovakia.
I did
And
not know that.
Yeah. Well, there are plenty of people who are doing these Nosferatu tours, right? It's like putting out the various sites you can visit, because this was one of the first films there where there was filming on location, right, rather than a studio. And so, Bratislava is going to be a nice town to visit too. You know, you're focusing a little bit on pharmacy too.
Yeah,
You want
there's a museum
pharmacy museums in Heidelberg, as you were talking about the Heidelberg Museum Castle. There's also the important pharmacy museum in there, and we're going to visit that in Bratislava too. Okay. So and it's actually not that far from Vienna, so this can be easily done by train.
It's a short trip.
It's a short trip, right? Everything's sort of easy traveling,
Yes.
right? And it will be then from Vienna that we are flying back. That's at least how we are.
Okay. That's 4 weeks.
Right.
That's a lot of good travel, and it's a lot of. I love the historical part, a lot of history. I love the cinema part. I love cinema. I knew there was a. I'm not a horror guy, and so I didn't realize how much of the genre, the vampire genre, and it makes sense, because if you know the stuff about vampires in Transylvania, you know, and all that stuff, you know, it's European. It's where it's at. But I didn't realize. You know, when you see horror, you think Hollywood. I never realized how much of it was in Europe. So even and I've seen some of these places, and I didn't even realize. Wow.
Yeah,
That's
it's
impressive.
very much linked to the Austro-Hungarian culture, right?
Oh yes, absolutely. When I was there, this is the homeland for them, and things like that. You never really your old soul know anything at the time. No, I was a little immature then, but things I really think the students are going to enjoy a lot of the things, and the ability to take that time and possibly go see other things that they may want to see that they would not otherwise to see, and at a low cost. You know. Speaking of cost, so let's talk about cost. What is the cost of this program for it, all that stuff?
Well, of course, the students are getting credit for 2 upper-level courses here.
Yeah.
You have to pay tuition and fees, but if they have any kind of family cover summer classes, that will be covered. The trip itself, all of the flights, the accommodations and train trips and so on, that is something that we're going no more than $5,000.
That's really good.
Yeah, and also will cover a substantial part of the meals and also like entrance fees, you know, which is also.
For $5,000, I want to go. I mean, that's a lot of stuff they're gonna cover?
I think primarily the biggest chunk of that is the airline ticket
Sure.
across, from the U.S. Over to Europe. As we said, transportation over in Europe is more affordable, so that will allow us to keep the cost low, and also traveling in Romania and Slovakia is more affordable
Yes.
than, let's say, England. England
Oh,
is
yeah.
really, in comparison, very expensive.
Oh, England's expensive, everything.
So
That's one thing I had to get used to, because we took 3 trips to the English Isle. We went to London twice, and like I had to really money for England. I'm like, we're gonna go to England. We could just go. Okay, we're gonna go. I had to set aside dollars because everything. Yes.
For Europeans, I mean.
Wrong. I loved London,
Mm-hmm.
but man, it was.
Yeah.
I had my international driver's license, but I just didn't try. I could not get used to it. I tried one time and I just couldn't get used.
Yeah, driving in Germany is better, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yes. I'd get on the Autobahn. I had a guy. So I probably shouldn't tell this story, but we worked together at night on night shift, and we'd get off at like 5 a.m, and the roads were empty, and we both lived. So we worked on Ramstein Air Base, but we lived on. And so we lived like 4 houses down from each other. And it's about a drive between the two, and it's all Autobahn. You just jump on the Autobahn from Ramstein and take off. And he and I would race on it. It was the Autobahn, you could do that. And we'd make an 18-minute trip in like 12 minutes. No big deal. He had a nice souped-up car. I love driving, especially Germany. But I never could get used to the traffic in England, because you'd step out and you're like, oh, crap, they're coming from this way. And you just it was expensive in England compared to everything else. So, but overall, even as much as England was, it was compared to what we would have if being there in Europe already. It was still affordable compared to if I was going hopping the pond, as they say.
Yeah, it's sort of
Europe.
like if here, you have cities that are more expensive, like going to New York is
Oh,
going to
yeah.
be more expensive than, like, let's say Dallas, okay?
Absolutely.
Something like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, well, this is awesome. Anything else we want to make sure we cover? Miss anything?
Well, the students, if they want more information, can
Yes.
go to the webpage of the Center for International Studies and look under Medicine, Monsters, Myths, and find more information
Yes.
there, on all the sites we're visiting, also a little bit more courses
Yes, ma'am.
we're teaching, application deadlines, of course. Application
Yes.
deadline is December 1st, and
Okay.
by then,
December 1st, folks.
yeah, that's pretty soon. I mean, 2 months ago, but
Can you believe we're only 6 weeks away from December?
Right.
I know, right? Yeah. Encourage people to apply early so that we know you're interested and we can help you out with your application. There is a short essay involved that's
Okay.
4,000 characters, a couple pages, and I think it's good if we know you're interested so that
Sure.
we can coach you a little bit on that.
So, how many spots do you know are filled at this point? Do you know by chance?
I haven't checked today.
Oh, okay.
But-
It's okay. But you have some filled.
Yeah, we do.
So,
We have some interest.
yeah. Okay. Anything else? Am I missing anything? Hey, it's okay if I'm not. It means I did everything well.
Yeah. There is a small international study scholarship available.
Okay.
Now. That's
Yeah.
is important to know. And of course, as Laurie already mentioned, scholarships you're getting usually during the academic year. You have to check with the Office of Financial Aid how they would apply in the
Right.
summer. Very often that is also applied in the summer.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's really awesome. Well, ladies, I want to tell y'all thank y'all for coming in. I know we kind of had some off and on communication, and then I was gone, and then y'all were gone, and kind of hit and miss for a little bit, but I'm so glad we were able to get y'all in here to talk about this. It really does sound like it's going to be an amazing trip for the students. I mean, even Tiana, out of my peripheral vision, I can see over here just going, yep, yep, yep. And it's going to be really interesting. Having, like I've said, and you grew up in Europe, in Germany, is that what you said?
In Germany, and I studied in France. So
Okay. And having spent 4 years in Europe myself, and you've been to Europe as well, you know that it's just really is. The entire continent is just gorgeous. I mean, like anywhere, it has its bad spots, but y'all aren't hitting those.
Only the highlights.
We're going to try to avoid some of those. But it's a trip that I really feel like the students are going to take so much more away from than they could ever imagine. And it's experiences like this that I tell people, if you get the chance to study abroad, take it. Go. You just don't know the things you can learn. Experiencing different cultures, immersing yourself in a different culture even. And just the travel itself and seeing the different things that they may never in their life get another chance to see. I mean,
I think it's a life-changing experience.
Yes.
And it's also really, I mean, you can see that students who have participated in these programs just get, how should I say that, a nudge up when they're looking for jobs.
Mm-hmm.
It's really beneficial because they can show that they have successfully survived in another cultural setting. That's really
Yes.
important. It's a skill
Huge.
a lot of employers are looking for. And so, I mean, I'm still in contact with a lot of those students who went on study abroad programs with me on Facebook, and if you see how they are living now, a lot of them travel or live some other place, and it puts students more at ease to also being willing to live in another culture.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
more flexibility also, in the largest sense, on the job market, willingness to work someplace else.
Well, it's one of those soft skills that people don't think about, or they undervalue themselves, but when the employer sees it, it's huge to the employer. I mean, anything where you're able to deal with multicultures and diversity and all those things is a huge soft skill in the marketplace today. And I think a lot of times the students don't realize the value that's there with that skill. You have an experience where everything's, apples to apples, and then you get the position because you've got this soft skill that other people don't have. And that, it can make the difference. And like you said, it's a life-changing opportunity. And I'm glad y'all are offering that opportunity. It's really exciting. So, Muelsch and Dr. Dickmeyer, both for being here. Thank you for making it in. And I look forward to I want to hear results from this. I want to hear some of the, maybe next year, next fall, we can bring some of the students in that have gotten the chance to go on these trips and talk to them about their experience. They're here. And because I know sometimes you get seniors that go that it's their senior trip, if you will. And maybe a grad student that wants to go, but so maybe we can get a chance next year. We'll talk to some of them, and next year maybe even talk about that are coming up for study abroad, and enjoy talking.
Well, thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate it.
We really enjoyed having that opportunity to talk about our programs. And
Well, I'm glad y'all messaged me because I didn't even. I'm still new here. I don't know if y'all know. I just started this semester as the director of RM Radio here, and so I'm still learning a lot of the ways ASU does things. And so, and when y'all messaged me, I'm like, "There's more than one study abroad. I didn't know." And then I went on the website, and there's like 4 or 5 of them. And I'm like, "Holy cow! I got some more people to get a hold of." But I want to thank you, ladies, for coming in and giving us the opportunity to talk with y'all about this and get this information. And if you want to hear more, definitely go on it's the International, what'd you say it was on? The
Center for International
Center
Studies.
for International Studies. And go on the website and you can find out more about this. Let me see if I get it right. Medicine, something and myths. Monsters and myths. I know there's another M in there. Medicine, Monsters and Myths, Europe 2024. Got it. And definitely go talk to these ladies and get more info. Get signed up. December 1st deadline. And that's pretty much gonna wrap it up for us here on the ASU Faculty Spotlight. Again, thank you, ladies, for coming in and giving us content to create and getting y'all's message out there. And I hope y'all fill up. I hope you get all 20 students filled. And I know you're going to have, I don't even want to say I hope you have a great time. I know you're going to have a great time. It's going to be a blast. I can hear the excitement in both of y'all that y'all are going to really enjoy being able to share your knowledge and impart that on another generation of students. And thank you for coming in. And that's going to wrap us up for this week. We'll see you next time, next Wednesday, 2:30, same bat time, same bat channel on ASU Faculty Spotlight. Thank you, folks. Talk to you later.